A great victory, 13 straight. I think that's obviously a feat in itself, but a rivalry week. And to be honest, an impressive thing is, our guys did a great job. And number one most important thing in rivalry weeks or games in general is respect. And some people would say, hey, you guys have won 12 in a row and this, that, and the other thing. And the reality is those guys respect the rivalry. They respect their opponent, and they prepared that way. And I think that's what gave us the chance to be as successful as we were and play the way we did, to be honest. So I'm really, really happy and excited about that, not just for the victory, but obviously about the way the guys went about it and the respect they have for the rivalry. To be honest, though, the most impressive thing the entire night was not the defense, who obviously pitched a shutout. It wasn't the offense that to me did a great job at managing the situation in the game. And it's not even James Smith, who I think averaged 45.1 net yards in a game. I think the most impressive thing was our fans and really our student body. So I owe them a great thank you. And I mean that, to see those guys out there even before the game as we're warming up in that weather and those conditions, it was definitely a factor, and it was different. Not that it's a loud crowd because of the venue and things like that, but just so our guys feed off of some of that, and those that went out and battled the weather and the elements. That's kind of what we take pride in, in our program and our team. And it was one of those little shots, little pick-me-ups even before we went in. So really impressed, and I owe them an incredible thank you. And hopefully we're going to continue to keep that up and do a better job even home here at Nippert. But I think, first of all, defensively, having a shutout is something you never take for granted. I mean, it just doesn't happen that often. Obviously, the conditions and things like that make it more difficult to score. But all in all, our front guys did a great job. Last year in the game, I would say the only group that really outplayed Miami last year was our front four. It wasn't the case this year, but our front four did a great job. I think they dominated the game, 59 yards rushing. Cortez Broughton ended up being our defensive player of the game and just, is really making a lot more plays. And I don't just mean he's got ability, but effort plays is what I think he's taken his game to the next level, and some of those screen passes and things he ran down. Offensively, I thought they did a great job. Some people would say, my wife kind of said, hey, you guys just keep running the ball up the middle. But you know what? The reality is, I've never once played in a game like that. I've never coached in a game like that. I've had a game, where it rains for 15 or 20 minutes hard, and it's very difficult at that time to move the football, but never one from the start to the finish that ever was like that. And they did a great job at managing the situation, taking care of the football. I think the ball was on the ground one time for us offensively, and we fought and scratched and clawed and got it back. But other than that, the ball was never in jeopardy. And Desmond Ritter ended up being our player of the game, just for the way he handled the game, the way he managed the game, not to be frustrated. Obviously, a couple big runs that he had as well. So it was a great night for them. And then special teams-wise, James Smith did a phenomenal job in those conditions and those elements to come back with a 45-yard net average on punts. Just the ability to, even into the wind, be able to drive it and do the things he did is a huge advantage for us, especially in conditions like that when moving the football is so difficult. So all in all, what you love to say is it's a team win, and it's what I call complementary football. Very similar to the first week in different conditions and things like that, but you're starting to see, hopefully, us continue to put together some complementary football and be able to play off of each other.
What kind of a momentum shifter is it when a guy like Wiggins just knocks the what out of a guy? That was
That's kind of what you say is people ask you, well, you guys are faster on defense this year. Well, that's a great tribute to Coach Brady Collins and what they've done in the offseason and his staff. But the reality is they're playing faster, they're reacting faster because they're confident in what they're doing. And I think that's what you kind of see from him. I mean, he's got incredible ability, but his ability to see what he sees, react, go, and have the confidence to take shots, because that's what we want to do. Not just take shots sometimes, out of control, but take shots and be aggressive to what you're doing. And he had one, I think, Perry Young. We just call them dominant tackles. And I don't know that we had a bunch of them last year, but we're continuing to see them. It's an emphasis for us defensively.
How much of an emphasis was there on tackling? Because it's in the off season. Because it seems like as a group, This team is.
I want to say we gave it lip service the first year. When I came in here, I said that the first way for us to improve defensively is to tackle better. And I tried to evaluate the year before and said we averaged missing 14 tackles a game or whatever before we got here, and we're going to do a better job. In reality, I don't know that we did a better job last year. Is it different? Is it the way we emphasize it? Yeah, there's a lot of different things we do, but throughout the entire offseason with some of our analytics and things like that, we've put in place a lot of things to do tackling-wise, and I think you can get much better at tackling and tracking the ball and eliminating big missed tackles in the offseason. And I think that Coach Freeman and those guys on defense have done a great job, or did a great job in the offseason at really emphasizing and putting it into some of our weight room stuff that when workouts were done, we had the luxury of being in the bubble, that they could go right out and do some of our tracking and tackling things on their own.
You mentioned Terrell Gilbert after the game and his performance on guard. For a guy that's bounced around for a couple different positions, what makes him a good fit at corner? What has he done to improve?
Well, I don't know if I said he was a great fit at corner. Yes, athletic ability and the things that he can do, but what we're asking him to do is almost to change a little bit of a mentality. A corner's got to be one of those guys that can be calm under pressure. He's got to be one of those guys that if they give up a play, they're coming right back at you. So the emotions of things can really almost kill you at that position. And he is an emotional guy. He's an emotional football player. He's a big play guy. And so we kind of have put him in a position, in a situation where it matches his abilities. But we're asking him to play with a little different demeanor and things. And, he gets excited. He did a great job the other night defending, playing a lot of press coverage and things like that. But he's growing in the sense of being under to handle some of those situations and control his emotions because it is a long game, because it's such a unique and different position than playing safety or outside linebacker where you can get away with some things and take some shots. You take a shot out there and you get frustrated and lose your mind out there, and it can be a 70, 80-yard touchdown right now. So he's doing a really good job. He did a great job in coverage for us. Even with the conditions, still he did a great job at being disciplined. And what I would be worried most about is not grabbing and pulling and holding on to into the receiver in some of those jump ball situations.
So it sounds like you're almost pleasantly surprised.
Well, no, I expect it, but we've challenged him in that role, and I knew that was going to be one of those things. There's a lot of guys we put into some different roles, and what you're expecting them to do, you want to see it done. You can talk and talk and talk about it, but when they go out there and not just the ability to play, I know he has the ability to play that position. It's the ability to handle some of the things that come along with it.
Coach, when you're trying to change culture from back-to-back 4-win seasons, how much does winning help with that? The reward of guys seeing what you're teaching, what you're doing works, and they win, and they have that reward. How much does that help?
I got to believe it's huge. I mean, we all see better than we hear, and different this year in just the way you've had a chance in these first 2 games to win. I said it's 2 games. We got a long way to go, but it's completely different than even 4 wins from last year. Last year's were, I'm not saying gifts, but they were squeakers, and you just kind of edge it out, and it just didn't ever feel good. And even though they had some excitement over a few wins, I know deep down inside, it's hard to believe and buy into some different things sometimes when you're you're not really all that close. You might get here and there. So to see that done, I was fortunate enough to see it, and then I wasn't there the first year that Jim Tressel switched over when I was at the University of Akron, but it was a similar situation. And then all of a sudden the next year we come back and have an incredible year, win a national championship, and boy, there was no doubt, everything was bought into. And that, as a young coach, that's one of those first things that I saw, and wow, it takes some of those kinds of things. I'm not saying national championship, but just it takes that success, that visual, that euphoria, that feeling, sometimes to dig it deep down inside to get those guys to, and coaches too, your entire program. I'm sure, the people in the building as well. Just trying to build all those things, not just the culture of your team, but the support as well. Victories like that and in those kinds of fashions, I think, go a long way.
You've talked even last week about how different it does feel, and you just mentioned it right there. How different does it feel just around the team, around the facility, around the program right now?
I think there's an excitement, and I mean that in the players. Now, again, you're always got to find ways and things to pick at and prod at to continue to make you better. And then it poses other issues, other problems, complacency and different things like that never once did we bring up last year. So you're always finding those things with 18 to 22-year-olds and coaches as well. I challenged them this morning, trying to hone in and focus in on the things that we're doing and what we need to do to get better on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday to show on Saturday. Sometimes, yes, you got that great feeling, but now you just got to kind of reshape it into say, hey, okay, now we got a great feeling. Now it helps us push a little harder, and where do we get better at it?
You talked about that, being able to push these guys a little bit harder. When did you start to feel comfortable being able to do that?
Well, I can't say that we didn't push them last year. We did, but, just in the way and how you have to do it. And, you say increase your expectations. Well, again, like we've said, when you start to see success and guys start to feel success, they start to buy in and believe. As they start to buy in and believe, you can go out there on a Tuesday and just, get after guys and really, really, hold them to a standard, because they've got a good feeling. You come in on Sunday, and it's a lot easier for us to pull up the 3 penalties we had on special teams and make a huge emphasis and point. Well, Coach, don't you want to focus on the positives, on a Sunday? Yeah, they feel great. They feel good. Now let's learn, okay, from that great feeling. Let's learn from those positives. As per last year, even if we won, hey, there's no negatives on Sunday. Let's pull out all the positive plays. Let's make sure Tuesday, Wednesday, we got to learn from some of those things we didn't do well. But you're manufacturing maybe some of that positive energy and having to do it a little bit more.
Were you able to do it this offseason, or you feel like you had to wait till UCLA?
No, we did. I mean, it was an emphasis, and but in our off-season programs, there's no winner or loser. We do it on days, but I mean, that true work your butt off to not have success on Saturday, you can work your butt off all week and, in the off-season, and, you feel good about it. There's no end result where everybody in the country or everybody in your community is going to either give you this or this. It's pretty simple after Saturday, whether you played a great game or not. So it's so much different in the off-season as opposed to the season.
Obviously, conditions dictated that you run the ball Saturday, but you got guys like Khalil, you got guys with good hands. Are they getting antsy at all?
I'm sure they are, and I made a huge point of how many catches. I asked him on Sunday in the meeting, Khalil, in front of the whole team, Khalil, how many catches did you have? 1. Okay, well, I'm going to show 5 other plays of you right here that have nothing to do with you catching the ball that were a huge impact and factor on our victory, and showed him as the gunner on punt, and they had to double team him. They had to double team. Every time they double team him, he still split him and had an effect on the return. If they didn't double team, it was guaranteed fair catch. I know that's not why he came here, but that's what's going to give him a chance to play at the next level too, is his ability to do some of those things. And I want to make sure that everybody, whether it's an offensive lineman or a defensive lineman, is in that meeting that realizes that just because he had 1 catch, he had an incredible effect on the game. So, does that make it that much easier for him? No. I mean, we could get him with Jim a little bit and go back in the times and take pride in the blocking. I showed that on Sunday. Right there is a difference in Khalil's game. There's a difference in a 12 to 14-yard gain that if the corner makes the tackle, Desmond still has a 12, 14-yard gain first down as opposed to a 40-yard gain because he blocks it. Now the thing's off and running. Does that make it easier? No. He wants to catch touchdowns. He wants to catch balls. But as you believe and buy into, you see the victories, you feel the things, you understand what you need to do. I think it makes it a lot easier.
Hayden got in for the 1 play, had a good run.
He did a great job. I mean, we still have a plan. It's not Wednesday yet, so at the end of Wednesday we kind of have put that plan together to make sure that those guys are aware of it and know what it is. But I can say nothing but great things. I mean, we had a plan going in the game. He was going to play the 3rd series. So the plans change at times. And the conditions of the game, the way it was, the ability to handle the ball and hadn't been in there, we didn't feel like it was the right time to do it. But the great thing is that the 1 play he went in when Dez's helmet came off, some guys were like, hey, do you want to call a timeout so we can get – No, we got all the confidence in the world. He goes in there, makes a great decision, pulls it down. It could have been a game changer, to be honest with you. We get that first down, it's 1st and goal. Now you go up 14 possibly, and now it's, a little bit different. So I thought he did a great job. He made the one snap he's in there, but he'll have a role for sure.
To follow up on the idea of plans changing with the quarterback, is there a scenario where Desmond, he's winning football games, the team's playing well with him, that the plan could change as far as him becoming the guy over Hayden because he is playing?
Well, Hayden's going to get some opportunities. You know, we'll have a plan this week, and at what situation is it? You know, and we're going to keep. They both deserve it. You know, and so it's not like we're saying, hey, we're exclusive now. You know, those guys understand that. You know, their relationship and how they do things, and in the, you know, you're 2 games into the season. I mean, there's not many years you're going to go through and only play with one quarterback. You know, whether it's something crazy, you know, of a helmet popping off, a shoe break, and whatever. I know that's not the plan that he wants to say, oh, hey, if his helmet comes off, I'm gonna be going in for 1 or 2 plays. That's not what we're talking about. But it still keeps him involved in everything that we're doing, and there's going to be plenty of opportunities for us to get to where we want to get to.
The new redshirt rule, I think when it first came out, everybody looked at the FCS game or whatever and says, you know, that's when you can get a lot of those guys to play. Is it tough with it game 3 now that you've got guys on scout team and kind of some things defined?
Now, we look at every game the same way. And, you know, we had said before the season started, we're going to have an evaluation before game 3. We're going to have an evaluation before game 6. And then we'll have an evaluation to know what we're going to do beyond that. So that's what we'll do this week, not because of anything based on how the schedule has gone, but just so that you can get a feel for where they are, you know, and what we're trying to do. It's until they get to week 6, we're not going to change the plan that we had, to be honest with you. If they're a guy that we wanted to play, then we're going to play him. You know, if they're a guy that we said, hey, let's wait and see, you know, see how much better. It's not if you're winning a football game or not. We got guys that, you know, that deserve to play. It goes into that 6 weeks. Are they that much better that it's going to benefit them and us to play them? You know, take a guy like Leonard Taylor. Leonard Taylor's going to play. Leonard Taylor could have played in the first 2 games. We're not waiting to see on a Leonard Taylor. You know, it just didn't happen to be the situation where, you know, to go in and get some of his first action. You know, Tavion Thomas is going to play. You know, so you're not waiting to see, well, let's see how the game, no. And then there's other guys where you got, hey, this is a guy we're holding. We believe that by week 6, 8, if they're that much better, then we can be ready to roll with them. So, you know, I don't think it changes yet until we get to about week 6.
Any updates on Dokes and his injury?
No, it's still day to day, week to week. Another one of those things where we'll wait and see here until we get to Wednesday probably.
Do you have any idea if he'll practice today?
No, I probably won't practice today.
It didn't look like Taylor Booth dressed on Saturday either. Do you have any update on his availability?
No. He should be available.
It's been a big load for Mike first couple of weeks. You okay with that kind of load going forward?
No, I mean, yes, because Mike can handle it, but no in the sense that it's a long year, it's a long season. We got a lot of really talented backs, and we got to find some ways and earlier on to get them in and to put them in position. I mean, 3rd and 2, you send Tavion Thomas in for the very first time he's been in a game other than kickoff return, and you hand him the ball, and he gets a first down. You know, it was 3rd and 2, and he got 2.5. If it would have been 3rd and 3 or 4, my guess is he'd have got 3 or 4. So we just got to do a better job, I think, sometimes at getting those guys and starting it early. But Mike can handle it, but I don't think that's where we want to be, because I still want Mike to play his best ball and down the stretch. And if he has to play 65 snaps a game, even as tough as he is and as durable as he is, down the stretch is going to be tough.